The Global eSchools and Communities Initiative, in collaboration with the MasterCard Foundation and the governments of Kenya and Tanzania, came together to spur innovation through the integrated use of technology in teaching and learning at the secondary education level under the Strengthening Innovation and Practice in Secondary Education SIPSE project. SIPSE was initiated with the goal of improving student performance in the critical subject areas of science, technology, English and math, commonly referred to as STEM subjects.
The number of students going into secondary schools has meant that the ratio of science teaching equipment has reduced, in the sense that for example, if you had one microscope in a school and you have a class of 50 students, then you will be sure that the results will not be as good. Like when we had fewer students accessing the same resources. Mm-hmm. The other issue is the content that is being accessed for science teaching. One of the biggest issues they talk about is lack of science teaching materials. So the content that we have being used to teach students is not always up to date. There are so many changes that are taking place in the science world on a day-to-day basis. The approaches to teaching science are also different, and they have to be reinvented every day, because whereas you can give a lecture in a history class, in a CLE class, science teaching requires a lot of creativity on a day-to-day basis.
To address this problem, SIPSE is equipping teachers to provide a student-centered, participatory and an ICT-based approach to curriculum delivery.
ICT brings a convergence of a lot of ways of delivering content. It brings in the issue of listening, because you have speakers, you have voice, you can get all of that you were able to get through the radio. It brings in the visual aspect of learning, what we were able to get through the television. And you can combine this with a lot of other things which can bring in the psychomotor things in science teaching, the touching, the modeling, the smelling, and so on. So ICT has or appeals to many more senses and makes learning much better. The whole issue of getting up-to-date information is something that is also a big plus in the use of ICT. Anytime you go online, you are able to access a lot of materials that were posted this morning, yesterday, and not just the materials that we used in the 19th century. We started off by looking at the didactic approach, and we used ICT to make that approach better. We started with the didactic approach because that is where most of our teachers are comfortable. And we used ICT to improve and to show how you can make that much better, although it is a teacher-centered approach that is no longer advocated in the country, in the policy documents in the country. Then we moved on to constructivist approaches to teaching, which are more advocated for in the policy documents in our country and also in Tanzania. And we looked at two of these. We looked at program-based learning and we looked at project-based learning. Again, we used ICT, or we made use of ICT to improve and to deliver content using these two methods. The reason why we focused on the constructivist approaches more aggressively is because they fall in the category of the 21st century skills. The children, the students we are teaching today will live in the 21st century. And that is why we have to use 21st century approaches. We have to use 21st century tools to teach them so that they can fit in the knowledge-based economy that we advocate for in Vision 2030.
Each of these approaches was implemented in phases between January 2014 and March 2015. A face-to-face session preceded each phase.
The teachers have become very enthusiastic in their preparations.
Technology have assisted me to bring some ideas which are hard to explain, and I've also seen the student getting more interested in knowing more things.
Before I was in SIPSE, I was using only books to teach mathematics. But after being a part of SIPSE, they taught us how to use ICT, so I was using ICT to prepare my lessons, especially in mathematics. So it helped me to get more information from internet, from other recorded things, and I used them in teaching. And I saw that there's a difference between using those things from the internet, because even the students are very happy and they like the subjects, because before that they used like mathematics is difficulty and it's not like enjoyable subject, but when they see the projectors, laptops, they like the subject. So I think now it's very easier for me to teach it.
The face-to-face sessions were followed by a 3-month online engagement session, which were complemented by school visits and classroom observation sessions by SIPSE master trainers.
What I have liked much in this project is the way the teacher used to log on in platform, the way they used to chat, maybe far away from different schools with the master trainer, the way they used to log in and get more materials so as they can be competent teachers.
And in the 2 schools I'm involved in coordinating lesson observation in them, school visit to see what the teachers are doing, how they are involved, and seeing actually them implement a class or a lesson in the class. During the lesson observation, I'll go to the class and see what they are doing. I'll also help them to bring out the best, to improve on the lesson.
The SIPSE teacher ICT competencies are drawn from the UNESCO ICT Competency Framework for Teachers and have been contextualized by GESCI for teachers in Kenya and Tanzania. So far, 120 teachers from 10 schools in Kenya and 10 schools in Tanzania and over 10,000 students have benefited from the initiative.
The use of ICT has created interest among the learners, and more so with the project-based learning, where learners are given tasks and they do their research. They do their research in the website, in textbooks, and they do a presentation as a group. This has promoted a teamwork among the learners and also active participation.
On doing the teamwork, we as a student there at our school, we always having some group discussion. And as we know, if I'm just having an idea on one concept, just a single idea, but if you're just having a group of 5 students and every student just come with his or her own idea, there you won't end up with only 1 but 5 ideas. So a team working in our school is very working, and our teacher is emphasizing on making discussion. We're also having discussion with other schools.
The project is supported by an e-learning platform and an M-learning application that increases access to content, making anytime, anywhere learning possible. All M-learning content can be accessed on basic Java-enabled phones, which ensure that teachers would be able to access the professional development materials via their basic mobile phone.
I want also to commend GESCI for coming up with this idea, because it is complementing the government efforts to ensure that ICT is integrated in the teaching and learning process in our schools. So we hope that we continue the same partnership as we look forward to having more of our secondary schools covered in this project.
Yeah, what GESCI is doing is a complement to what the government of Tanzania is doing, because the government from 2011 has established the National ICT Program for Secondary School Teachers, and which is really aiming at improving science and mathematics teachers as well as other subject teachers to integrate ICT in the teaching and learning process. Now, what GESCI has started as a pilot program in a few schools is in line with what the government also is doing. the things that are related to improvement of teachers, to give them ability to integrate ICT in the teaching and learning process.
The 20 schools participating in SIPSE have been working on student-teacher project-based learning projects in STEM subjects since February 2015. The best of these projects will be recognized in award ceremonies in Kenya and Tanzania in April and May 2015.
We had challenges too. The course that we were offering to the 120 teachers in Kenya and Tanzania was offered through a blended learning approach, and that meant that teachers had to go online for a period of up to 3 months in each phase. Internet connectivity is not easily available, especially in the rural areas. As we know, it is more concentrated in urban centers, and the schools that we worked with were in the rural areas. The other problem was teachers' workload. It became increasingly clear that the science teachers have a lot of lessons to cover in a week, and you may argue that they would be able to go online in the evenings, but as we all know, they have to commute, most of them, and when they get home, they have to take care of their duties at home. So the issue of workload was real, and that resulted in a lack of enough time for the teachers to be able to access the content as planned. On the other hand, although we had challenges, we had very good successes that came along the way. One of which is the improved confidence that teachers have shown over time. We had teachers who had real technophobia at the beginning. We told them when we started the project that they would be carrying the laptops and the projectors to class the way they carry chalk, and they all laughed about it. But when you go into the schools today, it's so refreshing to see them effortlessly taking the laptops, the projector, and jointly together with the books and taking them to class to improve the delivery of their lessons. The interest that has been exhibited by the learners whenever we went into the schools, and which has also been reported by the teachers, is another major success. As I said earlier, technology is appealing, truly appealing, especially to the young people. So when you learn there with technology, I can assure you your class will be an interesting one, and that is something that we have observed.
They started using the projectors in class. The students are more interested, they are more alive, they participate more, because it's a different way of teaching, as opposed to the teacher is in front there using the chalkboard and the like. But then with the projector, the contribution is more, the students are more alert, it's alive.
It is very exciting using the ICT because, first of all, it reduces the monotony of learning using chalkboards, and it also makes the things being taught by the teachers being more memorable to the students.
In the analog way, let me term it like that, it was very difficult to understand some concepts which are unimaginable. But with seeing, with the teachers projecting it onto a whiteboard, we can get the concept clearly and increasing the understanding.
The students have gained a lot of experience in IT. The teaching has become exciting for the students. Even the languages that look like they're not very exciting, mathematics has become very exciting, and last year but one, the mean score of mathematics has increased.
The issue of teachers accessing content that is current from online sources, being able to evaluate that and use it for lesson delivery, for lesson plan preparation, is something that I would say that I'm really proud of. And in the long run, the teachers will find that as they continually look for resources and save them, the workload will also be reduced. So when I look at the teachers, the 120 teachers, it is very exciting what they have been able to do, what we have been able to achieve, including a portal. We do have a portal that has a lot of resources that they have pulled together, and that is going to be available to all of them. So this is a project that I'm truly happy about because the successes outweigh the challenges and the shortfalls that we had during implementation.
SIPSE is a demonstration that the blended learning model can be adopted for general teacher professional development to train both existing and new teachers in more cost-effective ways.